everybody. Welcome to Perspectives. I'm Sam Jones. We're glad to have you with us today. Our first victim is going to be Carolyn Argo from Living Arts of Tulsa, and we're going to be talking about this year's Day of the Dead. Spooky time of year. Welcome. It's good to have you here.
It's good to be here.
First of all, a little bit about your organization. What are you?
Yeah, so Living Arts of Tulsa is an art gallery. We are actually the longest running contemporary nonprofit art gallery in the state of Oklahoma. This year is our 56th year. We're a rotating gallery, meaning we switch artwork out pretty much every 2 months now. So we've got actually an exhibition up right now that will be up through October 11th, and then we'll switch out for about 2 weeks, we'll be closed, and then we'll open up with Day of the Dead. So it's a fun time, love it there. It's a whole lot of programming, art, exhibitions, incredible.
Can one go to your website and find out
Yes.
what all's happening?
Yeah, our website is livingarts.org. We've got everything on there that we're doing, whether that's workshops, spoken word events, whatever exhibition's up at the time. You basically can find everything there, and if you haven't found it there, check our social media.
Great, good information. Let's talk about the Day of the Dead. What is that celebration all about?
Yeah, so Day of the Dead is a holiday, first and foremost. Basically taking the time to honor loved ones who have passed. It is a time where their souls are on earth briefly to be with their families and meet with them, and then they pass on. What we do at Living Arts is our Dia de los Muertos Arts Festival. So we have an altar exhibition in the gallery proper, and those are actual altars built by members of the community. We have some schools who come in, and it's a way for the children to learn about the holiday, but they're actual altars that are blessed by a priest. The Arts Festival is a celebration. It is a way to celebrate those people who have passed on, celebrate the families who have built these altars, and just have a good time on the holiday. So we'll have vendors, food trucks. We usually have a blessing by the priest who comes in, and we'll have a whole procession with Aztec dancers. It's an incredibly fun event. It's an incredibly emotional event. The first year I did it, I will admit I cried because I had only ever been as a guest, and it's packed. I usually would just like zoom through to see the altars and then go on my way. But getting to be there for the whole process, I did cry my first year. I do tend to tear up every year since, but it's just incredible. Well,
and folks should realize with a priest coming, this is all above board.
Yes.
These folks are all happy. And by saying it's the Day of the Dead, this goes back to what, the Aztecs?
Yes, I will admit, I don't know the full overarching history of when it started, but it is a genuine holiday. It has been going on for hundreds of years, much longer than Living Arts. We brought it to the gallery in 1994 as a festival, but the holiday has been going on for years.
Have you been, I hope, pleasantly surprised at the turnout?
Yes. We tend to see about 10,000 people each year, and everyone has been so respectful, so wonderful. We have never experienced any issues. We've always gotten incredible feedback from the families and the guests. When I say it's packed in there, it really is. It's kind of like just enough room to kind of wiggle your way through the crowds, because we try to fit in as many altars as we can. We don't really turn anyone away who approaches us asking if they can build an altar. And we always have a community altar that people can write notes to their loved ones on, which makes it more packed because that's usually like crowded and surrounded by people. But it's genuinely an incredible event for us to put on.
I've heard it's a very moving event as well.
Yes, it is incredibly emotional. We do a private blessing with the families beforehand on the actual holiday, November 1st. And that is, at this point, that is like a guarantee cry for me, because it is so, almost cathartic. It is really a cathartic event as well, of being able to say goodbye to these people and saying, okay, I'll see you in a year. You know, they're moving on, they're moving to a better place. And I have, again, always cried during the private blessings. I don't cry during the processions we do during the festival itself, because I can only imagine what it would look like for very clearly an employee to just be like broken down sobbing. But it's so cathartic. It's so heavy in a good way.
As you well know, I mean, and it goes without saying, anybody who's experienced the death of a loved one knows that the grieving period, the impact is immediate. I mean, what am I going to do? That person's out of my life. They're gone for good. Tain't necessarily so,
Yes.
because the memories, all the good that you enjoyed with that person, it still lingers. It's still there. So in that effect, they're still alive, very much alive. So this really brings folk together to say, it's okay to go on. I got it from here. I'll catch up a little later.
Truthfully, yes. And that your comment of they're alive, it feels alive in the gallery when the altars are there. Even when it's like, I'm the first one in the building, I just got there to open the building up for the exhibition for the day. Because all of these altars are full of memories. People are putting photos of their loved ones, items that they liked, drinks and food, just building really a memorial to their loved one, either, a family or a single person. And it feels like they're there kind of hanging out with us because there's so much care and memory put into these altars that, I feel like I can look at them and I know that person. And I think I can speak for the gallery that we are incredibly honored that people are putting their trust in us to have these altars here. And we have some people who every year they approach us like, we want to do this. We want to build another altar here. We have some people who might be their first year they build an altar with us. When schools do it and they're teaching their kids what this holiday is, we love that we get to be a part of that and we get to be a part of that educational process and just see all of the love and care that people put into this.
And I might add, it's also very, very healthy for young ones to come and experience this, is it not?
Yes. We end up doing, so Tulsa does Any Given Child tours with Tulsa Public School System. We do a majority of our tours during the Day of the Dead altar exhibition, so that kids are coming in and they're learning about an art gallery, but they are also learning about this holiday and getting to see kind of like the real life impact of the holiday.
Less than a minute. And I know there are folks watching right now who have perhaps recently experienced the loss of a loved one and have gone through the initial grieving period, but they haven't turned loose. And this will help them. So again, location, date, time.
So this will be at the Living Arts of Tulsa Gallery in downtown Tulsa. It'll be November 1st this year from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. We're doing an all-day festival this year rather than just an evening. So Saturday, November 1st, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And we hope to see you guys.
Hey, Carolyn, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's good what you're doing, child.
We are so happy to do it. We are so pleased that we get to do it every year.
We're pleased to have you do it.
Thank you.
We'll talk again down the
Okay.
road. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more right after this. And we're back. The Pryor Bluegrass and BBQ Festival is fast approaching. And Bridgette Nichols, along with two other folks that I didn't know we have the opportunity to interview, Zac Doyle, who's the mayor, and Adam Anderson, and we're going to find out what he does, but I know it's important because it involves money. It's good to have you guys here.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Now,
Sure.
first of all, what do you do?
What do I do? That's a good question. I am now the executive director for Pryor Main Street. So my job is to help with the revitalization efforts and economic development for the downtown district.
And you're the mayor.
I am the mayor, Mayor Pryor.
Well, we appreciate your taking the time to come in.
It's my pleasure.
So the way we're going to work this, I'm going to go to this fellow in the end. It's good to have you, and
I'm Adam Anderson, and I'm the chairman of the Economic Development Trust Authority.
and you're
for
also
Pryor.
a banker.
I'm a banker.
So they picked you.
I think I have the right role in this trio.
This is a big deal for Pryor.
It is.
You get a lot of folks coming and going. When does it all kick off? Anybody?
So the Bluegrass and BBQ Festival will be October 17th and 18th. So it'll start the Friday the 17th of October.
Any big names coming?
Oh yeah, we've got the Cox family, the Malpass brothers, Appalachian Roadshow.
Really?
Yes, it's going to be,
Quite the lineup.
yeah.
You're very lucky to have them. Do you have anybody coming that maybe has never been in a festival before, that this is a first for them?
No, our lineup is designed to be names in bluegrass. So we've partnered with Bingham Productions to bring us a lineup of known both contemporary, traditional bluegrass, and then bring in some more modern bluegrass at the same time.
How does it work? Is there one stage, one group performing at a time, or
Yeah.
do you have multi-stages and
Well, last year we had multi-stages. This year we're doing it a little different. Last year a lot of the artists performed shorter sets multiple times through the event. This time we're going to do longer sets. We have one main stage where we'll bring everybody together. And then throughout the remainder of our downtown area, there'll be the vendor market, car show, other events. We'll have a kiddie corral for the kids to do bounce houses and various activities, arts and crafts. But yeah, we'll bring everybody together on one giant green space that we have right in our downtown. We will have some reserved seats that are not free, but those are front porch passes, as we call them. Kind of a fun play on the Appalachian part of that. But for the most part, this event is free to the public. And that's the driving force for us, is that we can provide something, a music festival that is free to the public and very family friendly.
You know, it's almost holy, this idea of Bluegrass Festival. I mean, because man, listen, you're going to get some sounds you won't believe. You've probably heard them before, but they improve with age like good whiskey.
Yes, that's true. We want to incorporate as many entities throughout our city as we can. And so as we look at whether it's the vendor market or the barbecue portion of this, or feeding the bands in the green room, or the volunteer labor to help set up the stage, they're all groups throughout our city that we can put to work that want to chime in. You know, in Pryor, we're all about community. We're all about taking down the silos and working together and recognizing that that's what community is all about. And this is a great time to do it. You know, you use the phrase, it's almost holy.
Yeah.
And it is a very positive, uplifting thing that we can work together to put on a successful event.
And it really does take the entire community to put on this event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a fourth person that usually is with us as well. So it's not just a trio. There's four of us that go around. Our chamber president.
We only have 4 chairs.
Yeah, we couldn't. He was out of town, but it does take all 4 organizations in Pryor to really put these kind of festivals and these kind of events on.
Let's run over the high points again. When is it?
October 17th and 18th.
At Pryor.
Pryor, downtown.
In the event of rain, what happens?
In the event of rain,
It depends on how much rain.
yes, depends on how much rain. But we're going to try to truck through this and make it happen no matter what happens.
The stage is covered though.
Yes.
Okay, so folks, well, it goes without saying, for good barbecue and good music, I'd stand in the rain.
Yep.
Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you
Really
for having
do
us.
appreciate it. And I'm going to remember where I met you before. Probably after you walk out the door.
Probably was with the bail bondsman.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more right after this. We're back. Steve Jenkins is the center director at the Bob Dylan Center in Tulsa. He's leading a listening session called 10 Song. Good to have you.
Very nice to be here, Sam. Thanks so much.
How'd you end up doing this?
Well, I got the call to be the director of Bob Dylan Center some months before we opened in Tulsa in early 2022. I've been a Dylan devotee, a pretty diehard fan since I was actually quite young, introduced to his music by my parents when I was young, growing up in Los Angeles. got into nonprofit arts work throughout my career. That was in the San Francisco Bay Area. Everything seemed to come together to be what the folks behind the project were looking for. And so I got what I often refer to as my dream job.
There's a line here in my notes for this year's final installment of 10 songs plus one or two. What's that about?
Well, so 10 songs plus one or two is a series of listening sessions that I present at the Bob Dylan Center, both in person and online, for our members, where every 2 months I come up with a playlist. I'm interested in a wide variety of music. Dylan, of course, at the core of that, but I like music that spans decades and centuries and languages and genres. And so I have the pleasure of putting together a playlist that I call 10 songs plus one or two, if I'm able to sneak in one or two more, in about an hour's time. And usually I come up with a theme every couple of months. Maybe we'll look at and listen to love songs, or we'll go on a road trip, or look at the anxiety of influence, or have an existential crisis, whatever the theme might be, that for me suggests a group of songs that seem to play well together.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that caught my eye was it talks about you leading listeners through a sincerely dishonest playlist featuring Elvis Costello, John Lennon, The Swell Season, Matthew Sweet, and Dylan himself.
Well, so this theme is truth and lies, and we can look at that through the framework of popular music in all sorts of ways. There can be truth and lies on a political level. There can be truth and lies and deceptions and falsehoods and brutal honesty on a personal level. And so I've tried to mix it up. You know, this one will start, and this will be an event that we're doing October 16th. This playlist starts with John Lennon, who is very happy to call out hypocrisy in his great song from the early 1970s, Give Me Some Truth. So I started with that, with Lennon as kind of that siren's call of just telling it like it is. That leads, of course, to Bob Dylan. I Don't Believe You. You Act Like We've Never Met, a song of his from the mid-1960s, given a fantastic reading by the band, his backing band at the time. So we'll listen to that. You mentioned Elvis Costello. He's one of our guest curators at the Bob Dylan Center. And,
really?
Yes, and for me, and you know, he'd be the first to admit he's learned the most from Dylan and from Joni Mitchell. For me, he stands very highly in that echelon of singer-songwriters who now, for his almost 50-year career, has time and time again changed course and musical direction. We'll hear 3 songs by Elvis from very different parts of his long career that delve again into this idea of truth and lies. One is a cover of the great Graham Parsons song, How Much I've Lied, which Elvis gave a very heartfelt reading in 1980. So we'll listen to that, and then a couple of songs that have come after. We go into music by a band called Low. We'll listen to a band called Teenage Fan Club from Scotland, who conclude this investigation of truth and lies with a song called Sometimes You Don't Need to Believe in Anything. And I think the guitars are so beautifully ringing on the song. The harmonies in a sort of Beach Boys way are so blissful that perhaps the whole question of truth or lies doesn't even matter anymore. We can just bask in that 3-minute truth that a great pop single can convey.
It strikes me that we are at a generational crossroads when it comes to the center itself. I've been down to the Dylan Center at night when they have, you know, the street walks and the folks and all that.
Fridays.
And one of the things I discovered, you could meet anybody there. I mean, all walks of life pass through your doors. Have you ever met Dylan?
I have met Bob Dylan very briefly, and I should clarify, not in my affiliation with the Bob Dylan Center. This happened to be some years ago. I found myself in the right place at the right time and was introduced to him. And it was a very, very brief meeting with a quick handshake, and I'm not even sure he made direct eye contact. You know, I'm just another stranger backstage at a concert one night in San Francisco. That is not, I think we can safely surmise, his favorite situation to be in. You know, he has his friends, his family, his loved ones, people he wants to spend time with. And though he is so giving of himself as an artist, I think he's not necessarily all that interested in interacting with fans on that level. Of course, the whole Bob Dylan Center happened with his blessing. He chose Tulsa to be the home, the permanent home of his archive. That's where virtually all the materials came from, is material he himself had been saving since the mid-1960s. He chose Tulsa because our organization, American Song Archives, also operates the Woody Guthrie Center. Guthrie being Dylan's formative influence, someone who's remained very important to him over the decades. So it's to our great good fortune that we have both of these centers in Tulsa. But once Dylan made that decision, he really hasn't been involved. So he himself has not visited the center with his name on it.
Excuse me for interrupting, but were he and Pete Seeger close?
They sure were. Seeger was another very important figure for him in the early years, really the godfather of the neo-folk movement.
Because the reason I'm asking is I had the distinct feeling that if you were in the right place at the right time on a Friday night, downtown Tulsa, you could see Bob Dylan.
Well, we haven't seen him yet.
I wouldn't be at all
surprised. He's played in town
surprised.
since we've been open, but he hasn't come the couple blocks to the center that we're aware of. What's more important to those of us who are working there at the center is that it does really seem to be reaching out to, and to your point, a very wide cross-section of visitors. These are people coming in from truly around the world. You know, we've had visitors from all 50 states, from 40-some different countries. These are diehard Dylanologists, more casual fans, people interested in new cultural attractions, and often they'll gather on those first Fridays in Tulsa for the Art Walk, but they're coming through the doors every day, and it's a big part of the fun of the job is just to see on any given day who's going to come in, what are their stories, what was their point of entry for Dylan and his music.
There's something different about him that rings true. Every time somebody brings up his name, I have to go, wait a minute, whoa, that's one I've never seen. I'd like to see him in concert sometime. I'd like to meet him. I'd like to just pass to the same doorway. You know, he's one of those, and he's not an entertainer, but he is. And I don't know if he wants to be.
Well, you know, he referred to himself somewhat tongue-in-cheek way back when as merely a song and dance man. And while that's self-effacing and while there's much more to it than that, there is an aspect of him that believes in that great tradition of getting out on stage and entertaining your audience. He does it in his own idiosyncratic way, but I think it makes a big difference to him. Not what we think as listeners of any particular song, or if we enjoy a concert or not, but he wants us to meet him somewhere halfway. And though he has retained his privacy, and I say all the better, he's entitled to it, he has really given of himself to an extraordinary degree. Think about this career that's lasted 60 plus years and is still
And you want to go,
ongoing.
how did that happen?
Yeah, so to say you want to meet him, I understand that tendency, but I think he's found best in the work. So the songs are there, the performances are there. We're talking hundreds of songs, 40 plus albums, 60 plus years of an incredible body of work that's truly unparalleled in popular music.
And nobody's ever topped it.
Well, people have come after him and name him as an influence and an inspiration all the time, but there's truly only one Bob Dylan. Or more to the point, as he says, I contain multitudes, quoting Walt Whitman. There are many Bob Dylans, and I think it's up to us to find the version of him that resonates most with us.
And who was it? Someone said You mean Walt Whitman, the candy maker?
In this case, of course, we're talking about the great transcendent American poet who Dylan, I think, shares certain philosophical musings with.
Listen, I want to thank you. We're out of time. Will you come back?
I'd be very happy to. Thanks so much
I'd
for your
love to have you
interest.
back. I'd love to talk more about what little we know about this mystery man. And I'm sure there are other folks that would like to hear you talk about it.
I'd be very happy to. Thanks very
We'll
much.
make it a point. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Now we're all out of time. We'll see you again here next week.